So originally this video was going to be a rant on a website that I used to use and a certain system that they're implementing, which would pretty much make the site a pay-to-use site when it really doesn't have a justification to do so. But I decided to just scrap the idea and instead talk about the general idea of the rant, which was Doujin music. And you probably will have noticed that I've been using Doujin music in my videos for the past little while if you've been paying attention and looking at those small little music boxes that I've put in my previous few videos. So I'm going to start off with the basic summary of what Doujin music actually is, and it's basically music produced by these small indie bands or circles. The term Doujin music is usually applied to circles that produce songs that are remixes of the ever so popular Toho project's soundtrack. The Doujin scene also spans into content collection, or kankore for short, and then you got individual artists who make their own music and publish albums under their name exclusively. The Doujin scene caters to a pretty comprehensive set of music genres. You'll find tons of electronic, dubstep, orchestral, classical, hard rock, soft rock, and metal rock remixes, and trust me, that list I gave was not exhausted in the slightest. Now for anyone who cares, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how I got the Doujin music. And believe it or not, it all started from a game called Osu, a music rhythm game which is composed of 90% weeb music and 10% western music that no one really gave a shit about. So yeah, I started there. And I downloaded the beat map for Felt's Flower Flag, and that song got me into Doujin music and Toho as a whole. And I'm honestly glad I was able to discover that song. I mean, the shit I listened to before was really just a bunch of top 10 western crap and anime songs. And yes, I know it's as cancerous as it sounds. So if I managed to convince you that Doujin music is worth listening to, which it definitely is, you must be thinking, well, I might as well just go download that stuff right now. And, well, hold on there. You should probably purchase those albums, you know, to support the artists and... Not just download it. Now, despite what I just said, if you do like an artist and their work, you should probably purchase their album. But for those who don't live in Japan, you can't really do that so easily. The albums are mainly sold within Japan at various retail outlets such as Melon Books and Toranoana. There are e-tail shops, but those shops don't really do international shipping. However, not all is lost, for there is Diverse Systems, and I'm going to stop myself there for a second and say that there's actually another shop similar to Diverse Systems, and that is buydoujin.com. To me, I find buydoujin.com to be a little more enticing, and for now at least, it's probably because of the shipping method. They provide 4 selections, 2 of which are tracked, and 2 of which are not, and 2 of which are quick, and 2 of which are slow. Now, I haven't seen Diverse Systems shipping methods at all, since they want you to plug in all your purchase info when all I want is a quote. But I'm pretty sure they're either similar, or they have some other different kind of variety of shipments. I don't know. Someone can probably fill that in for me. The only issue for certain people may be customs, as they may charge ridiculous amounts to get through, but that pretty much goes for both sites and pretty much any international shipment in general. But seriously, check them out. I'll link them in the description below. Anyways, back to the original recording. And okay, their album selection isn't the greatest, but they do provide overseas shipping, so that's pretty much the main plus of them. But hey, it's either that or you hire a proxy service, pay commission fees and shipping fees, which are definitely not cheap when you compile them all together. But if you want to sample some Doujin music, you can go to certain channels on YouTube like Phoenix Kappashiro, Ammy with 2 M's, Shaya Kagi, Tuifying, Nii Chii, and SlakedMind. These channels upload lots of Doujin music from a variety of genres, so I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find something that fits your fancy. As for circles, some circles that I recommend are Felt, Alstromeria Records, Shibayan Records, RD Sounds, Demetri, and Hatsunetsu Mikos. As for individual artists, I can recommend, I would say Seismix and Nato, but that's the only 2 I can really think of at the moment. I'm pretty sure there are plenty more arrangers and artists that are worth listening to, so do some digging around. But getting back to the point of having to download the music, and yeah, you're gonna have to do that if you want to sort of keep up with Doujin music. And there are a few sites that are dedicated to bringing this stuff to people outside of Japan. Sites like Toho no Sekai, Blogspot, and Doujin Style both offer a fair amount of albums. However, not all links may be working, since some of the people who have uploaded the albums on various file hosting sites may have had their accounts terminated. At least that's what I think is the case, since I see a lot of terminated account notices when I go to download certain files from Doujin style in particular. That doesn't mean Doujin style is a bad site, it's just, you know, maybe they had a few old links lying around that they just never got around to replacing. But then you must be thinking, well, what about the artists? And in all honesty, downloading the albums all the time without considering the artists is a little selfish. And while I'm not demanding everyone who downloads Doujin albums to go and purchase them, it would be nice to do so when it's convenient, like if you're going on a trip to Japan. And if the previous criteria was satisfied, then take the suggestion from me. Try not to limit yourself to, you know, purchasing from Melon Books or Torano on our retail shops. You could check out some other shops as they could potentially have older albums that are no longer in circulation, or you can get slightly more current albums on the cheap. I managed to grab Shibayan's Adrastia for 700 yen, which is about $7 USD, and I also got Belts Grow Color for 1000 yen, which is around 10 USD. But typically you'll be paying around 15 USD for an album, which isn't unreasonable, but it isn't cheap either. This also ties in with another reason why people usually download Doujin albums. It's because the cost of purchasing albums can really add up, especially if you purchase albums that only have a song or two that you like. When I was in Japan, I was trying to get the most songs I liked per dollar. That meant I had to pass on certain albums since they didn't have enough songs that I liked to warrant a purchase. And most of the time, there were albums that were just too old to be in circulation anymore. There were a lot of old albums that I wanted to purchase but are no longer available, such as Belt's Flower Flag, the album, not the song, by the way, and Ultramaria Records' Pop Culture 2. Sadly, the concept of Bandcamp and other music hosting sites isn't really a thing amongst Doujin circles, which is a shame. It would make the legitimate attainment of albums so much more widespread and simple. There is Melon Books DL and probably a few other sites, but there aren't too many albums hosted on there. But I think that's good enough of an explanation of Doujin music for now. So to close up, if I've somehow got you intrigued into Doujin music, then I wholeheartedly recommend you go and listen to the stuff. Like I said, there are some channels out there that upload different kinds of Doujin music. I'll link them in the description below. If you got any questions regarding this stuff, feel free to comment down below, and also leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. If you don't, then well, no more use forcing ya. Anyways, I'll try to get some more videos out as soon as I can. I remember I was going to talk about some moments in Japan. There weren't too many noteworthy moments when I was in Japan. Not to say that Japan was a boring place, it's just that there wasn't really anything worth talking about in terms of video content. I'm not going to talk about where I visited because, well, that's incredibly boring. And then again, there weren't too many, little awkward moments and stuff like that. I do have a few, short, sweet little stories. So I guess I'll talk about those in the next video. But for now, I am just gonna go now. So I guess I'll see you guys later.